grand African mansion stands under the evening sky, its elegant halls filled with an unsettling silence. Inside, the luxurious living room remains untouched, the air heavy with tension. Family members sit apart. Chief Atta Ekindel in his stately chair, his expression unreadable. Yvonne gazing out of a tall window, and Ado flipping through documents with a clenched jaw. Adebayo stands alone in a dimly lit corridor, his hands in his pockets, deep in thought. The weight of unspoken words lingers in the air, each family member lost in their own conflicted emotions. The once harmonious home, now divided by an unspoken rift. Adebayo, Akindele, stands by the large window of his dimly lit bedroom, his silhouette outline against the city lights or the vast family estate. His hands rest on the windowsill, his face tense with regret and contemplation. Reflections of his troubled expression mirror back at him on the glass. The weight of his decision lingers in the air as he mutters to himself. The room behind him is filled with scattered documents and an untouched suitcase, symbolizing his internal conflict. Adebayo Akindel stands near the window, lost in thought. When the door to his room opens, Yvonne Akindel steps inside gracefully, her posture poised, dressed in an elegant traditional outfit. Her expression is composed but firm. The tension between them is thick, the contrast between duty and personal freedom evident in their expressions. His fists tightening at his sides as frustration builds within him. Across the room, Yvonne exhales slowly, unfolding her arms, her expression shifting from stern to measured as she speaks. You're just being selfish with your own dreams without thinking about anyone else. Adebayo turns slowly to face her, his brows furrowed, frustration in his eyes. I'm not being selfish, Yvonne. This is what I want, how I want to build my life and my family future. He responds with quiet determination. The tension between them is thick, the contrast between duty and personal freedom evident in their expressions. That's exactly my point, she says, her voice calm but firm. You're making this all about you. We are the Akindele family, Adebayo, not just any political family, but the most powerful one. Do you realize what you're doing? You're putting a stain on our name. You're making us look weak. I will not stand by and watch you ruin everything everyone has built. Adebayo tenses, his jaw tightening as he processes her words, the weight of legacy pressing down on him. Adebayo clenches his jaw, his fists tightening at his sides as frustration builds within him. So, what? I should abandon my dreams and leave for the family. That's what you expect, he demands, his voice tense with defiance. Across the room, Yvonne exhales slowly, unfolding her arms, her expression shifting from stern to measured. I'm saying you should have thought this through. Saying you should have thought this through. She responds, her voice steady but laced with urgency. You need to find a way to make this work. With the family, not against us. Ado is furious. And if you want a way forward, you need to reason with him. Adebayo's shoulders rise and fall with heavy breaths as he processes her words, the weight of duty and personal ambition colliding in his mind. As Yvonne turns to leave, Adebayo instinctively reaches for her arm, his grip firm but pleading. No, don't go yet, he says urgently, his eyes searching hers for understanding. Come with me to see Ado. He'll listen to you better than he listens to me. Yvonne pauses, her expression unreadable, studying her younger brother's desperation. The room remains tense, the weight of unspoken expectations hanging between them as Adebayo waits for her response. Yvonne raises an eyebrow, a knowing smirk playing on her lips. I'll go, on one condition, she says smoothly, her voice laced with quiet authority. Adebayo exhales sharply, already regretting asking for her help. He knows exactly how manipulative she can be calming, but right now, he has no other option. Fine, I agree, but don't push it, Yvonne. I know how you are, he warns, narrowing his eyes at her. Yvonne chuckles softly, tilting her head as if amused by his attempt to set boundaries. The tension lingers between them, unspoken negotiations happening beneath the surface. Adebayo and Yvonne step into Ado's chambers, the air thick with unspoken tension. The room is lined with towering bookshelves and a large wooden desk cluttered with political files and documents. Ado sits behind it, meticulously sorting through papers, his expression unreadable. Without looking up, he shakes his head, already sensing the reason for their visit. The weight of the confrontation hangs between them, unspoken but inevitable. Ado scoffs, finally looking up from his documents, his sharp gaze locking onto Adebayo. Leaning back in his chair, he crosses his arms, a smirk of disbelief on his face. You show your face here after spilling the tea, and now you want me to clean it up for Papa. His tone is laced with sarcasm, but there's clear frustration beneath it. No, I won't be a part of this, not now. He shakes his head, dismissing the conversation before it even begins, the weight of the family's turmoil evident in his posture. Adebayo's fingers instinctively grasp Yvonne's sleeve, a silent plie for her to intervene before the tension escalates further. His grip is firm but desperate, his eyes flicking toward her with urgency. Yvonne glances at him briefly, understanding the unspoken request. She exhales, straightens her posture, and prepares to mediate. Her presence the only thing standing between a heated argument and a possible resolution. Ado narrows his eyes, his tone sharp with frustration. Don't try to charm your way out of this, little brother, he says, his voice edged with authority. He leans forward slightly, locking Adebayo in his gaze. What you did was reckless. You should have talked to us first instead of throwing everything into chaos. His words hang heavy in the room, a mix of disappointment and controlled anger as he waits for Adebayo's response. Yvonne exhales deeply, a hint of frustration in her breath, before motioning for both brothers to sit. Her movements are composed, yet authoritative, demanding their attention. We need to figure this out, she says firmly, her voice carrying the weight of reason. She glances between Ado and Adebayo, her expression unwavering, determined to mediate before the tension spirals further. Yvonne's voice remains steady, her gaze shifting between her brothers. Hey, Daddy-o, I know Adebayo was foolish, but we need to find a way to discuss this with Papa. She turned to Adebayo, her tone firm but laced with expectation. You have to see how selfish this looks. We were raised and trained for this life. You can't just ignore that. Adebayo lowered his gaze, his fists tightening at his sides, the weight of her words pressing down on him. Yvonne continued, her arms crossed. Being a law advocate is actually an asset to the family. Adebayo, you're good at it. And now, whether you like it or not, you're officially part of the family's political matters. If you checked your office, you'd see files waiting for you. We need a legal mind like yours. It's not up for debate anymore. Adebayo's chest tightened. His heart sank. The light he had fought so hard to escape was pulling him in, and the walls were closing around him. Adebayo's heart sinks, a sudden wave of unease washing over him. His brows furrow as he processes Yvonne's words, his mind racing. He swallows hard before speaking, his voice hesitant. Wait, files, he asks, his tone laced with uncertainty. His eyes shift between Yvonne and Ado, dreading the answer he knows is coming. But Ado leans forward, his expression serious, eyes locked onto Adebayo. His voice is low, carrying the weight of urgency. One of them involves Dr. Adedotun. There are rumors that he's planning to leave our party and join the NNCRT. He pauses for a moment, letting the words sink in. If he does, he'll take sensitive party and family information with him. The gravity of the situation settles in the room, the implications undeniable. Adebayo's eyes widen in shock, his breath hitching as he processes the revelation. He leans forward slightly, disbelief etched across his face. Dr. Adedotun, Papa's childhood friend, the same man who has attended every family gathering. His voice rises with incredulity. He would betray us? His gaze darts between Ado and Yvonne, searching for any sign that this might be a mistake. But their solemn expressions confirm the worst. Ado nods, his expression cold and unreadable. Yes, the KT, Kairos team, has been tracking his movements. We need to stop this before it escalates. His voice is firm, carrying the weight of responsibility. Adebayo hesitates, his mind racing. He shifts uncomfortably, glancing at the documents on the table before meeting Ado's piercing gaze. And what do you expect me to do? He asks, his tone cautious, knowing full well that his involvement is no longer a choice, but an expectation. Yvonne crosses her arms, her gaze unwavering as she looks at Adebayo. Her tone is sharp, leaving no room for debate. Review the case, look through his files, study his moves. In 48 hours, we need a solid strategy to stop him. Their words are a command, not a request. The weight of the family's expectations pressing down on Adebayo as he processes the impossible task ahead. Adebayo's chest tightened as an overwhelming sense of entrapment settled over him. He had only wanted to negotiate a way out, to find a middle ground where he could pursue his own path. But now, the walls were closing in. He could see it clearly. This wasn't a discussion. It was a carefully orchestrated move, pulling him deeper into the family's political affairs. His hands curled into fists at his sides as he realized that, once again, his fate was being decided for him. Adebayo stands at a crossroads, unwillingly pulled deeper into the very world he once swore to escape. But does he have a choice anymore? The weight of expectation presses heavily on his shoulders as he stares at the confidential files before him. Will he uncover Dr. Adedotun's betrayal before it's too late? Or is this just the beginning of his entanglement in the family's political web? Can he ever truly break free from the Akindele legacy? Or is his fate already sealed? The clock is ticking. Time is running out.